Hey, good Tuesday morning, everybody. I'm grateful that you all tuned in, and hopefully we can take Psalm 77 and we can faith the day and faith the rest of this week together. So, listen, you know, we all go through dark times. We really do. We all go through difficult times. Uh, it affects some people in different ways than it does others, but we all at some point in our lives find ourselves in a time that's tough, and we might even find ourselves in a time where we just feel like God has abandoned us. And that's Psalm 77. That's exactly the way uh, the writer here feels. Uh, Listen to what he says. He says, "Will the Lord cast off forever? And will he be favorable no more? Has his mercy ceased forever? Has his promise failed forevermore? Has God forgotten to be gracious? Has he in anger shut up his tender mercies?" And you see here, he obviously feels like God has just cast him off, and God has shut him out, and God has moved away from him, and God is just not even thinking about him anymore. And so we often find ourselves in a place where we feel like this. He says, "And I said this, I will remember the years of the right hand of the Most High." So what he does during those times is he says, "I remember the years of the right hand of the Most High." The right hand is the symbol of power and the symbol of work. And he says, "I'm going to remember all those times that God actually did work in my life." And I'm sure you are similar to me, maybe even, I can look back over my life, even before I gave my life to Christ, even before I decided that I was going to follow God. There are events in my life where God literally was looking out for me. There were times where it is so obvious that God literally saved my life in some cases. He literally protected me in other cases. He literally protected me through life with decisions that could have been destructive. He is literally walking with me and my family after I've surrendered to him. He's literally walked with us through all of the difficult times. Listen, my family has had the same difficult times that your family has had, believe it or not. My family is not different from yours. We've had the same struggles uh, as you've had, and God has walked with us through those times and uplifted us. And oftentimes, I have to remember all of those things to remember that God really does love me and that God really does care about me. And so He says, "I'm going to remember the works of the Lord. I will remember your wonders of old." And He goes on and He just recounts about all of the things that God has done, and it's in that He finds strength. I think I told you yesterday that Sunday I preached from Isaiah 43, that God has created us, God has formed us, God has redeemed us, and then God has called us by name, or He's made us His own. Why would God do all that just to abandon us? That's not even logical. Why would He create us, form us, redeem us, and make us His children just to turn His back on us? He wouldn't. Clearly, He wouldn't. And Romans 8:32 says that, um, oh, why did it go away from me there all of a sudden? Uh, he who did not spare his own son, he who did not spare his own son, but delivered him up for us all, how shall he not with him also freely give us all things? Listen, if God didn't withhold the life of his own son, what makes us think he's going to withhold anything now that would be beneficial and useful and uplifting to us? There's a passage in Matthew chapter 7 where Jesus says, what man is there of you who if your son asks for a piece of bread, are you going to give him a rock? If he asks for some fish, are you going to give him a snake? And the obvious answer is no. And he says, well, if you, being the evil people that you are, know how to take care of your children, how much more do you think your heavenly Father knows how to take care of you? Listen, God has loved us and has proved it over and over and over again. He's created us, He's formed us, He redeemed us, He's made us His own. And this idea that gets into our mind that we think that now that God has just abandoned us is from the enemy. You need to take that thought captive and into obedience of Jesus Christ. It's from the enemy, and he's playing with your mind so that he can play with your heart, so that he can play with your emotions, so that he can bring you low and into darkness. Listen, God does not cast off. Jesus said, I'm with you always, even to the end of the age. Hey, you take Psalm 77 and the scriptures and the promises of God, and you get out there in faith today. God bless you guys. Love you. Bye.